Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the MindShare Podcast. This is where we cut through the noise, say the things that need to be said, and give you real strategies to help you work smarter, build mindshare, and grow a business that actually makes money. This is episode number 340, and we're officially at the halfway point of the entire year, which means it's time to stop guessing and start auditing. Today's episode is your Mid-Year Marketing Audit. We're talking about what's actually working, what's not, and what to fix so you stop wasting time and money and start building serious momentum. Let's do this. So starting off, why do most agents never actually do the audit? Think about it. Most agents just do marketing, but they don't actually measure what's going on. We buy postcards, we buy door hangers, we buy pens, we put up signs, we put our face on a billboard or a bus bench or a bus, or we sponsor a team. But we don't actually figure out what's working, what's building the mind share, what's actually bringing in the business. Is it all that marketing? Is it all that money I'm spending? What specifically about that is it? Is it none of that? Is it online? Is it offline? Is it active? Is it passive? I mean, so many agents just post on social, send out the mailers, run the ads, and then just move on. I spent the money. I did what I had to do. But without an actual audit, without actually paying attention to where your marketing dollars are going, and number one, what is your marketing budget? And number two, what channels are you using? Or in fact, more importantly, what audience are you speaking to? And who is that audience? Where is that audience? How big is that audience? Without all of this, you don't know what's actually driving results. And you don't know what's just kind of noise and what's just kind of burning a hole in your pocket. Just because you're marketing and you're spending dollars, it doesn't mean you're doing it well. So I want to go through call it a scorecard. I'll call it a mid-year marketing scorecard. And we want to break this down into essentially three categories. Okay, those categories are visibility, their engagement, and their conversion. So let's start with the top one here. And by the way, as you can tell, it's just you and me again today. And yes, Dave, where did all the guests go? I've been enjoying this. In fact, not only have I been enjoying it, it's helped me share a lot with you guys. It's helped us work through a really difficult time in the market. I've had a lot of incredible feedback from people saying that the show really resonated. They needed exactly that at that moment. And when we go backwards, I don't know, about probably a month and a half ago, when I asked you about frequency and I asked you about keeping the podcast, and I got the feedback from so many of you saying, what are you even thinking about here? And I thank you. Again, I tell you that. But I thought to myself, from a value add perspective, we could probably get more out of this at this moment in time by talking about direct strategy, talking about direct action that needs to be taken on a daily basis, that needs to be in focus in order to truly get to where we want to get to truly be able to drive the level of business that we want to drive. And yes, let's make sure that we do mention that this market has not been friendly to many. But that's okay. What goes up must go down, and what goes down must go up. Hence why we're doing the resets, and hence why we're doing the marketing audits. This is the moment that we work on our business. And yes, there's going to be things to do that you have to work in the business, but take advantage of this time right now. So here, the mid-year marketing scorecard, okay? And we're, like I said, breaking it into three categories: visibility, engagement, and conversion. Starting with visibility. Ask yourself this. Are you consistently showing up online, in inboxes, and in mailboxes? What does that mean from a bigger picture, okay? Online, do you have a social media content strategy? How often are you posting? Are you consistent about what you're posting? And not only are you posting, but are you engaging with other people's posts? Inboxes, straight up, email. How often are you sending an email blast? And not just like, yeah, once in a while, when I think about it, I send it out, but like how often are you sending out an actual email blast to your contact list? I'm going to tell you right now, you should be twice a month. Oh, but Dave, isn't that too much? No, it's not too much. I'm sending them out twice a week. You got some companies that send them out once a day. Do you want to get lost in the noise? Yeah, but I don't know what to add. What kind of value am I going to add? Well, again, we can do market reports. We can talk about insights. We can give opinions. We can share properties that are out there. We can give tips. We can talk about what's going on in the community. I mean, there's a lot of things we can talk about. The question is, are you doing it? And much the same with mailboxes. Are you sending mail to people's homes on a consistent basis? And if you think of yourself, nah, I send email, I do online, I don't need to send mail, I want to remind you that when it comes to marketing, we think about neuroscience, the way the brain works. And not only neuroscience, but neuromarketing, the way the brain responds to different marketing stimuli, different messages, different graphics, different images, videos, sounds, colors, you name it. Are you taking advantage? And again, if you're thinking, well, email, online, okay, hold on. And those of you that coach with me and those of you that know me know where I'm going with this. But the mailbox is where? Exactly. It's at my home. I mean, for the most part. Some people have them across the street in their super boxes, but whatever. You get it. It's at my home. It's part of my home. And if you're in the game of real estate, then your mindset should be, I want to connect with that guy's home. I want that guy to think of me, or that person, that family, those people, to think of me every time they think of their home. See, because that's what you call mindshare. And mindshare equals market share. So by sending something to the house, when they receive it at their home, they see you, they see their home, they think of you, they think of their home, they think of their home, they think of you, and the more consistent you are with that, the more they think of you when they think of their home. Now they're about to go sell their house, or they know somebody who's going to buy a house, or move into the neighborhood, or sell their house next door, or whatever. Who do they think of? They think of you. Who gets the opportunity? Much higher chance it's you. This is why we leverage mail. So again, I ask you, are you consistently showing up online, in inboxes, and in mailboxes? Are people seeing your name every single week? Think about that. See, if you're doing your social properly and you're connected with everybody in your contact list, there's a much higher chance they're going to see you at some point with something, whether it's a personal or a business post. If you're sending something to their inbox, even every other week, at some point they're going to see you. If we send something in the mail once a month, at some point they're going to see you. And now when you think about it, on a pretty much weekly basis, you've created a much higher chance that we're going to see you. Again, you built a ton of mindshare. So think about it. What channels are actually giving you the reach? What's helping you get out there on a consistent basis? And I really encourage you to think about your social media for a minute and say, I'm on social media all the time. But like, are you actually on social? Like acting with purpose on social, or are you just like stalking other people? Think about it. Come on. We got to be involved in the conversation, right? But what channels are working for you? Maybe it's got nothing to do with the ones I just said. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's a text. Maybe it's getting together with people at events. Dinners, lunches, whatever. Think about it. What channels are giving you reach? Are people seeing you every week? Okay, are you consistently showing up? Now, the second one here, when we said 3 key categories, is engagement. When you do send those emails, do you ever look at your open rates? Do you ever look at the click-through rates? How many people actually click the button on the CTA? Because you can't just send a message, not have a call to action, and expect people to reply to you. Right? Because I get that a lot. Like, I didn't hear anything back from people. I sent out my email and nobody said anything back. Well, what did you say in the email? Well, what kind of value? What kind of hook did you have? So HVC, we've talked about this before. HVC, hook. What kind of hook did you have to get them to stop and pay attention? What kind of value did you provide? And what kind of call to action did you have to get them to do something? Call me, reply to the email, click this button, whatever it is. Okay, we want to measure. You want to measure the open rate, you want to measure the click-through rate, and then when it comes to something like social, and although I tell you, don't worry about likes and views and everything else, and don't measure your self-worth based on those, it is good to look at, am I getting comments? Are we getting any DMs? Did that post spark anything with anybody else? Because if it didn't, maybe we do need to change the hook. Maybe we do need to change the value. Maybe we need to change the delivery. There's always a process of coming up with an idea, execute on it, massage it, figure out what's working. And then when you figure out what's working, and you kind of get to that point, you think to yourself, okay, I'm not sure if it's having an impact. Okay, we pivot a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. It means you're constantly growing. It means you're constantly evolving. And so, yes, looking at some of these metrics will be super helpful for us to just determine, is what I'm doing resonating with people? Are people interacting with me? Are they paying attention to what it is I'm saying? Or are they just kind of scrolling past it? And then, not to mention that, because you're consistent when we talk about engagement, right? Because you're consistent with everything you do, and you're doing stuff on a regular, I can look and say, okay, maybe on this week Monday, on the emails I sent out, they didn't get a ton of response, but the email I sent out on Thursday was awesome. Okay, what were the difference between those two? What did I learn? Or maybe this week I got no responses, but the week before again was awesome. What did I learn? So we want to try to see what resonates. And the one thing I can tell when it comes to the podcast here, as we talk about engagement, which content gets a response, it seems as if when I speak with you directly, just like we're doing right now, I mean, I know it's not really directly. You might be talking back or answering me, but I can't hear you. But you get the point, right? It's all about recognizing what your audience wants, serve that up, and people come back. And the third one here, conversion. When you think about the things you're doing out there, again, whether it's online, offline, active, passive, to your contact list group 1 or to the strangers group 2, when you think about any of that stuff, the question I then have is, how many leads have come from each of those campaigns? How many opportunities have you actually created? So if you're doing a summer sale, or you're doing something, where you're just trying to bring people in for a campaign, and we've talked about that one, right? Thinking about short bursts. Did it work? Did it have an impact? Maybe you were doing something for, Father's Day or Mother's Day, you're doing a giveaway. Did it have an impact? Right? How many new opportunities came in? If you're out door knocking, how many people said, yeah, I'd be interested in receiving something from you? What about the last reel you put up? Did anything happen? Did it cause anything? Did it spark conversation? Did it make the amount of views jump by a bunch? Again, the email blast, the postcards send out. Which one of those, as I say these, and maybe you're not doing any of them, but you should be, which one of those is actually bringing you the most opportunity? What's converting? And ask yourself this, right? What's converting and what's just branding? See the difference between the conversion and the branding, very simply put, it's getting your name out there, getting your colors out there, your logo, your contact information. It's putting you out there in front of the world. But then conversion is the actual, did people reciprocate? Did people say, hey, I see you, I hear you, and I want to talk to you? And again, if you're not getting that, we've got to ask ourselves, what can we change? Now, I will say there's a little caveat in all of this right now. We are dealing in one of the toughest markets that most people have been through in quite some time. So although you're putting, if, and I certainly hope you are, you're putting in a ton of effort to getting your marketing out there and being consistent and all the stuff we're talking about here today, but you're still not feeling that lift in your business, it's very important that we do understand that, again, we're dealing in a tougher market. So this is not to say, hey, take everything we're talking about today and don't do it, because your stuff's probably working, it's just the market. It doesn't mean that. But what it does mean is take the stuff you're doing, go through and do this scorecard, and ask yourself, even over time, what's been working. And I know with our coaching clients, again, we track our deals. We track every single deal that comes in. And we want to know exactly the source of that deal so that we understand what is the source. Now we know where the business is coming from. We're not even asking this question of what's working and what's not. We know who the group is that's delivering most of the business. We know what's working when we do to get the business. And now we just keep moving on that. And we keep tinkering along the way, but we know what's working. In a market as such, it's tougher to understand that. So again, we want to do the scorecard. We want to break it down into 3 categories: visibility, engagement, and conversion. You want to ask yourself, what's actually working? So your action step here would be, grab a notepad, make 3 columns: visibility, engagement, conversion. Then go back through the past 90 days of marketing and just start to write down what actually worked. Look at the past 90 days of lead sources that have come in, inquiries you've had, people who've put their hand up saying, yeah, I think I want to buy, or I think I want to sell, or I got questions about the market. Ask yourself where they came from. You may very well find that everything you go through, you're like, oh my God, it's just literally me and my conversations with people. Which may beg the question of why you're spending money on marketing. But at the same time, again, we need to be out there building MindShare. And we need to show to the people that we're actually doing the business with, that are actually entrusting in us, that we do have a business. So we can't just go dark and pretend it's like just us and we don't have to spend any money. Some people got there, but they've been in the business some time. We're talking 2 decades. They've made a ton of money, been very successful, and have built up an incredible network. If you haven't been in that long, don't fret. By doing the stuff we're talking about today, you can certainly get there. And in time, we can spend less and make a lot more. So, that's talking about our scorecard. And you've got that action step to go through with the 3 columns and write down what actually worked. Now let's talk about, sorry, I forgot to tell you, that was a coffee sip. So we just had a little coffee break. Brought to you by my favorite mug called Ember. And they are nowhere close to an official sponsor of this podcast. But I love the mug. Anyways. So what do we fix right now, Dave? Okay, you're telling us all this stuff. I've got to adjust. I'm on this. I'm understanding what you're saying. What do I do? Well, here's where most people will fall short. The first one is inconsistent frequency. Okay, inconsistent frequency. You posted once. Do you hope for deals? No, didn't happen. All right. Well, I don't know. What are we gonna try? All right, so we post on social, didn't work. I don't know. Let's do some postcards, or yeah, I'm gonna go. I think there's a billboard on the street that I drive down. I want that. I'm gonna call them. Come on, that's not a plan, right? We need to be consistent with everything we do. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more. And trust me, it'll be a million more after that. If your frequency isn't irregular, I mean, again, I'm going to bring you right back to this show right now. When does this show drop? Like, when does it actually air for you to listen to it? Okay, again, if you just answered out loud, thank you. But you know I didn't hear you. Point is, this show syndicates Friday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. 5 a.m., why? Well, it gives everybody enough time that as they get up in the morning, that show is ready to rock. And now you got all weekend at some point to tune in. And then, of course, and beyond. But the point is, every single Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern Time for the past 341 weeks. That sounds crazy to even think about. We have consistently posted. That's what you call a consistent frequency. There's no guessing. We don't, we'll put it out on Thursday this week. I don't know, we didn't get to it last week. It's fine, whatever. There's none of that. It happens like clockwork. Just like the clock strikes 12 at midnight, we do the exact same thing with this show, and is exactly what I'm saying to you to do with your marketing. Okay? From your social, to your email, to your inbox, to your door knock, to your phone call, to your this, to your that. It's got to be consistent. Okay, so most people fall short just simply from consistency. Another place that most people fall short is their CTAs, which is something I just mentioned a moment ago, but they're weak, right? There is nothing saying, hey, do this. Hey, reply to this email right now. Hey, click the button below to get your free X. Hey, meet us here on such and such a day. If you're not telling people what to do next, quite frankly, they don't know what to do next. And I know that might sound silly where you're like, come on, are you serious? But yeah, that's why CTAs, call to actions, are a thing when it comes to marketing. I can tell you anything I want. I can tell you everything I want right now, but if I don't tell you what to do, you may come away from this show and go, okay, that was good info, but what do I do with it? So instead, I've got to make sure that I've always got a call to action for you. And we call them action steps together, right? I tell you, do this. So realistically, I'm telling you what I want you to know, what I think you should know, what I think you should learn. I'm telling you why it matters to you. And I'm also sharing with you what to do about it. And there's really the framework that you want to follow when it comes to the content. And another place that people are falling short is there's absolutely no targeting, right? And I've mentioned this before about group 1, group 2, but there's nothing specific. We're just going to kind of throw it out there. We're trying to speak to everybody, but we're connecting with nobody. Well, we're not looking to speak to everybody. Again, your group 1, who are they? This is another place to audit, right? Who is group 1? Well, they're the people in my contact list. Exactly. How many of them are there? And you're going to have a different one than the next person listening than I have. But the point is, we know who group 1 is. Then we got group 2 when we talk about targeting. It's not just anybody and everybody else, like all the people we don't know. It's a specific geographic location that you could say, there are this many homes. They are right here between, these major streets. I know I can target them. Now, if you're thinking, my farm, yeah, I'm farming, or I'm door knocking, or I'm dropping postcards, but it's like a different neighborhood all the time because it's like wherever your listing is, then realistically there is no targeting. And you might be thinking, but I'm targeting that neighborhood. Yeah, you are, but you're not going to be there with enough frequency and consistency to get those people to actually resonate with your message. So we can't try to speak to everybody because we're going to end up connecting with nobody. What we need to do is we need to be very targeted with who we're talking to. So, inconsistent frequency, weak CTAs, no targeting. How do we fix this? See what I did there? Here's what we're going to do. Here are your calls, or here's your action steps on what to do with this stuff now. Number 1, again, pick 3 channels. 1 online, 1 inbox, and 1 offline. So we could easily say we're going to do social, we're going to do email, we're going to do direct mail. Just kind of sticking with the theme that I started with off the top today. Then what we're going to do is we're going to build out a 30-day calendar. Day 1 to day 30. What are you posting and what are you sending every week? So think about that. We take, and I would suggest to you, think it through just like this. You take a big desktop calendar. Okay, the big ones, the ones that you can throw your laptop onto. They sit on top of the desk. The reason I say one of those is because the boxes to write in are very big. Because if you take a pencil and an eraser, you can add things in and you can erase things out and move them around. Very simple. You want to do this online? Go ahead and build it on a digital calendar you can copy and paste. Point is, what we want to do is we want to grab a calendar. And on it, we want to start to actually mark down what days are we going to send the emails? What day am I going to send the mail? What days am I going to post on social? Then we want to go deeper and start to think to ourselves, well, okay, I know what days I'm sending it. Now, what am I sending? We know the channel is email. We know it's direct mail. We know it's social. Okay, what for each one of those channels, what is it that's going to go out? So we want to know, what are we posting and what are we sending every single week? And then right after that, and now again, there's your content calendar, by the way, and within that content calendar, one extra little tip, a pro tip that I'm going to add for you, is create a work back schedule. So, for example, and this is how we stay consistent, right? So if I look ahead and I say, okay, for the next 30 days, this is the execution plan. Then there's this real thing called time, and we know time is can be really tough to work with sometimes. And if you're not in creative mode, or you start recording the video and it doesn't go the way you want to, all of a sudden you quickly think, okay, I can't do this, or I need more time, or it gets frustrating. And maybe you got to run to a listing appointment. Maybe you're supposed to go out door knocking. Maybe you're supposed to go to another appointment or showing, whatever. Point is, creating marketing and being consistent about it, it can get very frustrating very quickly. And it can actually cause you to fall behind very quickly. So when we do this work back schedule, what we're doing, and the same thing with the podcast, and I'm going to bring it right back to you because you get this, but you listen to this show. This show, if this is the most recent episode when you're listening to it, whatever, bottom line is, it syndicated on Friday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Time, right? Well, when do you think it was recorded? I could tell you flat out, this is being recorded on a Tuesday morning. Me, myself, and my microphone in the studio. Tuesday morning. And my cup of coffee. Such good coffee. Like, we ground it fresh every single morning, by the way. Got a grinder. You press the button and it grinds the beans fresh. And you take the beans, you put them in the percolator, you make a beautiful fresh cup of coffee that I throw it in my nice mug. I'm telling you, they really should be officially sponsoring this show. But anyways, if you agree, let me know. But think about work back schedule, right? We're recording Tuesday morning. Editing will take place this week, and the show will be live and syndicated by Friday at 5 a.m. So the big day, the big time, the one we're locked into is Friday at 5 a.m. Realistically, on my schedule, this show might have been recorded on Monday morning. This show might have been, in fact, it wouldn't have been recorded Monday morning because it was prepared on Monday morning. So the actual show notes and the theme and what I want to talk to you about today is all prepared on Monday. It's now being recorded on Tuesday. My team now has time on Wednesday and Thursday to edit, and then on Friday, it's going to be released. That's how we ensure consistency. So again, what you want to do is you want to build out this 30-day calendar. You want to list out when you're going to be posting online, how many days a week, and what you're going to post. You want to list out when are those 2 emails a month going to go out. I'm saying 2 at least. You want to do more, go for it. And then when is the direct mail going to go out? Now that you know when it's going out, now we've got to work backwards and ask ourselves, when do I have to record the video? When do I have to write the email? When do I have to prepare the direct mail? This way it all happens like clockwork. And then we take that same calendar once we execute and we do it again next month. Now, different topics. But we always want to know what we're posting and what we're sending every single week. There's our consistency. And the last thing you want to do is we talk about a fix again, and we've really talked about this, so you probably got this already, but add a clear CTA every single time, no matter what. Book a call, send a DM, download the guide, go outside and enjoy, call me, come see me, follow, whatever. There's got to be something. If you don't have something, you're missing the mark. You've told people all sorts of stuff, but you haven't told them what to do about it. You've kind of left them just hanging. Provide direction. Okay. So we just talked again about what to fix right now. And, we said people are falling short through inconsistent frequency, weak CTAs, no proper targeting. And I said to you, in order to fix that, and if you're falling into that same place, pick 3 channels: online, inbox, and offline. Build the content counter, build the workback schedule, and be sure to add a clear CTA. Time for a little commercial break. This episode is proudly sponsored by Kit's Keep In Touch Systems, your ultimate marketing and lead generation CRM. REM Real Estate Magazine, your trusted source for Canadian real estate news. And Revel Realty, redefining real estate with bold marketing, cutting-edge training, and a powerful culture of success. Download your free Ultimate Marketing Bundle at mindshare101.com. That marketing bundle is, in fact, going to help you with everything we're talking about today, so make sure you grab that. It is totally free. And hey, while you're there, check out how our coaching and training services can help you build a business that actually works. From one-to-one coaching for personalized growth, to the MindShare Collective for group coaching support, momentum training to level up your game, and keynote speaking to fire up your team. And hey, don't forget, save your seat for our MindShare Mastermind happening September 15th to the 17th in Toronto. Small room, big energy, and game-changing breakthroughs. Let's go. All right, let's get back to the work here. What do we double down on as we move into the back half of the year? Well, let's look at what's been working this year so far. Been doing a lot of talk about the trends, about, with a lot of people finding out what is working for them, where's the source of the business, where are they having results, what's causing people to call them. There's been a lot of conversation about that this year. And it's interesting how the landscape changes, that when the market becomes more difficult, we realize that the quote-unquote back to basics seems to be what's truly the most effective in this market right now. So, let's look at some of this stuff. I mean, think about like personalization or personalized outreach. Things like voice notes, actually somebody hearing your voice. So you might do this on a text, on a WhatsApp, whatever, but you literally record it. Hey, yeah, you going to be there tonight? Or, hey, give me a call when you get a second, or whatever. You can have real conversations with people through voice notes that are one-to-one conversations. They're not one-to-many. They're one-to-one conversations. We can have those conversations with people. And it does, in fact, make it easier to converse than getting on the phone. And I say that when I say easy, I mean strictly because of time. I mean, think about how many times you've declined a phone call because you're not in the right place, or you're with people, or you're doing something, you're busy, your hands are tied up, whatever it be. But if somebody sends you a quick text, asks you a quick question, you can quickly answer that. So voice notes are really working right now. DMs, like video DMs, where you literally could send somebody a message through video. These real conversations, even through phone calls, one-to-one messages through DMs. So even if it's not a video, but you're literally DMing somebody, I guess the way to look at personal outreach is to say one-to-one instead of one-to-many. Okay, that's what's working. When people feel like they're actually being spoken with, not just spoken to or spoken at. Think about your social. You put a post up on social media, I know it's a one-to-many. I know I'm not the only person seeing it. But if you DM it to me, I know it's a conversation between you and I. Take email, for example. Again, if you email me specifically, and I would still argue that email is not going to get you as much response as something like a text message. But just to hit home for a moment, when we say one-to-one, one-to-many, right? If you send out an email and I can tell it's personally speaking to me, maybe it's talking about something you and I talked about last time, it's referencing that conversation. I know you're having that with me. You're not having it with everybody else. So it's going to prompt, there's going to be a higher chance that I'm going to respond to you. But again, if it's an email blast, there's a chance that I'm probably not going to respond to you because I realize that it's not just for me, it's for many people. So I'm not going to be as apt to want to sit there and go, let me get back to you on this one, right? And so when you think social media, an email blast, even like if you send out a mail blast out there, a mail blast will do something very similar where, again, I know that I don't need, here, hit home with this one. When was the last time that you actually got a piece of mail and then you decided I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go send it back a piece of mail to say thank you? We really don't do that, right? So again, personalized outreach is really having a huge impact right now. Another thing that's working right now, targeted campaigns, okay, seller-specific campaigns, move-up buyer guides, investor content. Like when you start to really hone in and understand, who is it that I'm targeting? Who is it that I want to speak to? Who am I trying to get the message across to? We start to get more specific, and this rolls right in line with what we said a second ago about personalization, right? The more targeted we are, the higher the chances that we're going to get people actually paying attention. And then you think storytelling content. Really working right now. People want connection. They don't want just information. And so when you can share your story, and I've said this to you many times before, right? Let's say something like social media stories. When you go onto social media stories, that particular channel, what you're doing is you're telling people a story. including shots of what you did throughout your day, whether it's video, whether you're talking, whether you're sharing a story about something that happened. Throughout the day, we're getting this progression of like what you're up to, and we're getting more, we're being able to know what your story is even more, okay? In doing that now, we're wrapping people up into not just the business side of the world, but the personal side as well, because we're telling our story. Well, the more you're telling your story, the more people you're gonna be targeting the right people who are gonna look and say, oh, we've got something in common. Like, we love baseball in this family. And oftentimes I post stuff about baseball, very often, and we get a lot of feedback from people like, oh, where's your son playing? Or, oh, my son's playing too. Or, oh, this and that. What do you think? Or whatever. You're having all these random conversations with people who are potential business opportunities. But we're talking about baseball. Why? Because I'm telling my story. That connection around the baseball brings us closer. It builds a stronger relationship. The stronger relationship starts to build out trust. The trust builds out what? More opportunity. Okay? So again, people want connection, not just information. If you're just sending out the latest rate market updates, you're just like everybody else. You're not standing out. We've got to create that connection with people. So when you think again to yourself, like, so what do I do, Dave? I'm hearing you. I'm going to go through and do my scorecard. I'm going to do my audit. I understand. I got to personalize. I got to be consistent. I got to have CTAs. I get it. I got to measure what's working. And what I want you to think right now is what's working in 25 is, again, the personalization. It's the targeting. It's the storytelling. And all of that says to us, it's about you opening up a little bit more. It's about you trying to create a deeper connection with these people, not just being a brand with a logo. See, marketing isn't about being everywhere. It's about showing up with purpose where it matters most. So your action step, your challenge here today, choose one campaign to focus on for the next 30 days, okay? Go all in. Build out the consistency, measure the results, track what's working, and then adjust where needed or keep moving. But I want you to do this marketing reset. I want you to look back and ask yourself what is working and what's not, because this is the moment. Like I said off the top, this is us working on the business right now. So again, here's the takeaway, okay? Audit what you've done. Cut out the fluffy stuff. If it ain't working, it ain't working. Fix the gaps. Do I have the CTAs? Am I targeting properly? And once you know what's working, double down. If it's those phone calls, get on that phone. If it's that door knock, get out and door knock. If you're not seeing anything come through from your social, I'm not saying to get rid of it. You certainly need to adjust it, but it is also telling us it's not the biggest source of our business. And I'll tell you, for many, it's not. It usually does come down to these personal connections that we have with others. Marketing should make you money, not just make a whole bunch of noise. And that's what we love to do here. So if you need help getting clear, building your systems, or launching better campaigns, let's talk. Because MindShare equals market share. You've been listening to the MindShare Podcast, whether it's on your favorite podcast platform or directly from my website. Make sure to get yourself into the MindShare Mastermind happening in Toronto, September 15th to the 17th. Learn more and grab your seat at mindshare101.com. We've only got a few left. Seriously, do not wait. This event is going to be awesome. If we haven't yet, follow me at David Greenspan 101 on Instagram. Send me a DM. Let me know what part of your marketing you're fixing first. And until next time, keep building MindShare, because that's how you get more market share. Big thanks to our sponsors, Kits Keep in Touch Systems, Rem Magazine, and Revel Realty. This has been another episode of the MindShare Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.